Hi there everyone, Jack here again at the Vinyl Voyage. So today I'm going to jump on a thread that was started by John at the Digital Gramophone. It's the wonderfully titled The Sad Bastard thread. Now, I love sad music. I have been called a sad bastard on more than one occasion, so I feel well qualified to take this one on. So let's get right into it then. The usual thing with a tag, a list of questions all relating to sad music. So here we go. First one then, an overplayed sad song. So the one that kind of came to mind first for me is this one from 1974. It is Graham Parsons with Love Hurts from his posthumous album Grievous Angel. So it's not so much that Graham Parsons' version of Love Hurts is overplayed, because I absolutely adore this song. It's not a song that ever gets on my nerves, certainly not Graham's version, but the song itself has been played so many times, it's been covered so many times. Cher's did it, Rod Stewart has did it, Nazareth I think did it the year after Graham. They did that big power ballad version. The Osborne brothers done a bluesgrass version, a fantastic version as well, that ended up in the Deadpool 2 soundtrack. But that's the thing with Love Hurts. Any kind of montage in a movie that deals with a breakup or love gone wrong, it's always Love Hurts that they play. So yeah, it's definitely overplayed, but I can't not love Graham's version. It is the best version. So there we go, Love Hurts, an overplayed sad song. Number two then, listening to an album, someone walks in to the room and says, "What's this sad bastard shit?" How many times has that happened to me? So many. First with my mum, then with my wife. Yeah, I'm no stranger to that sentiment. So I'm going to go with one that's been commented on many times, and it is my love for all things Aidan John Moffat. So I love Arab Strap. I love his solo poetry stuff where he was down as Aidan John Moffat, and then this is just his solo album, Aidan Moffat. I think this one's from 2018, and it's called Here Lies the Body, with Aidan John Moffat and R.M. Hubbard. R.M. Hubbard being like a Scottish acoustic guitar player, but they fit really, really well together. If you don't know Aidan John Moffat, he sings in a very broad Scottish accent. He's from Falkirk. If you've not heard Arab Strap before, they were kind of, what would you say, career miserablists. Their music's been called whingecore in the past. They're kind of well noted for being perennially down in the dumps. But yeah, this is really good. I really like Aidan John Moffat. He kind of sings songs of heartache and breakup and heartache and breakups, and this is kind of no different. So the song I'm going to talk about here, first one, is called Cock Crow. And I've got an example of a few of the lyrics. Let's fire up this iPad. So this will give you a bit of an idea. The opening song goes, "We knew we'd never last. We couldn't even start. Just the odd top secret text and a crack across the heart, and then you're gone. But cracks like that don't heal. They hide away." And for the rest of the album, it's pretty much the same. Heartbreak, loss, loss, more heartbreak. Aidan John Moffat. The amount of times that my mum, my wife, my kids have heard me listening to Aidan John Moffat or Arab Strap and said, "Oh, what is this miserable garbage that you've got on," as usual. But hey ho, I like it, so that's all that counts. Number three then, it's a love song. No, sorry. It's a sad song, but for me, I love it. Okay, so this one was a sad song that didn't feel sad to yourself, or the lyrics are sad, but the music's not sad. Something along those lines. I'm going to go for MGMT, 2007 album, Oracular Spectacular. And this is kind of poppy, electronic, psych type stuff. And I'm going to go for the opening track called Time to Pretend. Now, if you don't know the song Time to Pretend, it was one of their big singles when they released this. But the lyrics are actually pretty sad. The lyrics are all to do with someone who has aspirations of being a pop star, and they're choosing between the kind of humdrum, boring life of a kind of 9-to-5 worker or the life of a pop star. They choose the life of a pop star, and then they realise that it's not all that's made up to be. And this is some of the lyrics. So Starts off, I'm feeling rough, I'm feeling raw, I'm in the prime of my life, kind of as a teenager. Let's make some music, make some money, find some models for wives. I'll move to Paris, shoot some heroin, and fuck with the stars. You mind the island and the cocaine and the elegant cars. So it starts all very upbeat, and these are the promises of what it'll be like to be a rock star. But the reality is that the people around you, the people who really care for you, are kind of alienated. You become isolated, and then kind of the tone of it really changes when he starts singing about how he's missing all the things from his childhood, like simply playing in playgrounds, playing with animals and digging up worms. He misses his sister, he misses his father, he misses his dog and his home. But then it changes again where it goes, but there is really nothing we can do. Love must be forgotten. Life can always start up anew. The models will have children. We'll get a divorce. We'll find some more models. Everything must run its course. We'll choke on our vomit, and that will be the end. We were fated to pretend. So yeah, kind of, suppose, pretty depressing lyrics and subject matter that is maybe not the happiest, but the tune's really upbeat, and it certainly doesn't come across as depressing to me. And unless you read into the lyrics, probably for most people, they would see it as a kind of upbeat song. Okay, next one then. It's a love song, but it's a sad love song. So I picked Alexei Murdoch with his debut album, Time Without Consequence, from 2006. If you don't know Alexei Murdoch, absolutely fantastic singer-songwriter, troubadour type, from the UK. I think he's moved to the States now. But yeah, he's just absolutely brilliant. His guitar playing somewhere between Nick Drake and John Martin. However, the song that I'm going to choose to talk about, All My Days, the opening track, is so much like Nick Drake that it's untrue. And I've said in previous videos, he's very lucky that he wasn't sued by Nick Drake's estate for this song. But it's an absolutely fantastic song. It's really, really good. And it doesn't initially sound like a love song. It's a song that kind of covers what it's like to find yourself in the world, find your place in the world. The narrator kind of going down all these different roads, trying to find his purpose in life, and kind of dealing with the isolation of doing that alone. So there's a line in here that I really like. Well, many a night I found myself with no friends standing near. All of my days, I cried aloud, I shook my hands, what am I doing here? All of my days. And the song kind of keeps moving along really nicely with this lovely finger-picked rolling guitar, and that kind of keeps it ticking along. And then the narrator of the song realises that when he meets this lady, or I assume that it's a lady, he sees more clearly, and he kind of realises this is what he's been looking for throughout his life, this kind of human connection. He says, now I see clearly, it's you I'm looking for all of my days. Soon I'll smile, I know I'll feel this loneliness no more all of my days. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful song, really, really nice. And yeah, can't speak highly enough of this album, really good stuff. Alexei Murdoch, the song was All My Days, and the album's Time Without Consequence. Next one then, a favourite sad lyric. So we're going to go to Warren Zevon and his album, his final album from 2003, The Wind. If you know the context behind this album, I said it was Warren Zevon's last album. He wrote it and recorded it while he was at the kind of final stages of terminal cancer. And a lot of the album deals with his own mortality, or him facing up to his kind of impending death. And the song we're going to look at is Keep Me in Your Heart, which is just like the most beautiful, sad song, written from the point of view of someone leaving a message behind to their loved ones, kind of after they're gone, and just kind of hoping and urging that they kind of stay in their memory. So some of the lyrics in here. Sometimes when you're doing simple things around the house, maybe you'll think of me and smile. You know I'm tied to you like the buttons on your blouse. Keep me in your heart for a while. Hold me in your thoughts, take me to your dreams, touch me as I fall into view. When the winter comes, keep the fires lit, and I'll be right next to you. And really simple lyrics, but I think when you put it into, what I said, context of what was happening in Warren Zevon's life, yeah, really, really kind of songs that kind of tug the heartstrings, especially Keep Me in Your Heart. It would literally bring a tear to a glass eye, that one. So next, Show a Breakup album. Now, I've shown this a few times before, this album, but this is the ultimate breakup album. The Midnight Organ Fights by Frightened Rabbit, their second album. It was released in 2007, and Scott Hutchison was going through a breakup as he was writing the songs for this, and it pretty much in real detail, it catalogues his breakup and going through the kind of range of emotions from I don't care about the breakup, I feel down but I'll move on, to like the kind of contradictions where he sings about I feel better, I feel better, I feel worse, I feel better. Then he goes into things like the self-loathing that he felt after he'd kind of engaged in post-breakup sex, how he had instant gratification, but he felt so much worse in the long term. And then the thing that's worse than that is like kind of going for like a rebound one-nighter, where he'd go for a night out and kind of to drown his sorrows, he'd go away with another woman who made him maybe feel better for a while, but in the long term, he would just feel much, much worse. And, you know, the song at the end, it's the second last song, it's called Floating in the Fourth. There's a line in there where he sings, take your life, give it a shake, gather up all your loose change, and I think I'll save suicide for another year. And that's kind of him slightly getting over the relationship and realising suicide's not the answer. And that's really hard hitting when you listen to that song now, because then obviously a few years later, Scott Hutchison did take his own life and he did drown in the Forth River. So yeah, really, really, it can be a difficult album to listen to this because it is so truthful, but it's a fantastic album as well. Really, really good. The Midnight Organ Fights by Frightened Rabbit. Next pick, the saddest song by the Smiths. I'm going to go for Heaven Knows I'm Miserable Now, off of Hatful of Hollow from 1984. And there's so many to choose from with the Smiths. You're spoiled for choice, but listen to some of these lyrics. I was happy in the haze of a drunken hour, but heaven knows I'm miserable now. I was looking for a job and then I found a job. Heaven knows I'm miserable now. In my life, why do I give valuable time to people who don't care if I live or I die? What could be more miserable than that? You know, he's always down in the dumps, Morrissey. So, yeah, there we go. Still love the Smiths. Great stuff. Next one. Choose a sad song from a big band. Now, I'm going to go the same way as John from Digital Gramophone. He chose the biggest band. I'm going to do the same. The Beatles, and the song he chose is exactly the song that I would have chose as soon as I heard the title for the thread, and I knew it was about sad songs. The first song that popped into my mind was For No One. It's like the ultimate sad song. It's almost like one of the most heartbreaking breakup songs. The lyrics of it are really, really sad. Here's a couple of those sad lyrics. So I think it's the opening really. Your day breaks, your mind aches. You find that all her words of kindness linger on when she no longer needs you. And then it's those lines as well in the chorus, and in her eyes you see nothing, no sign of love behind the tears. Cried for no one, a love that should have lasted years. And this kind of idea that one person holds on to the kind of love within the relationship, but as it breaks up, while one person's still holding on, the other person couldn't care less. And that's what happens. That's what's happening here. It was a Paul McCartney song. He was going out with Jane Asher at the time, and I think it was running towards the end of the relationship. He said that he wrote it in a Swiss chalet while he was skiing with Jane Asher. And then he had this idea for this lovely little French horn part towards the end, which was recorded by Alan Civil, who was kind of one of the prominent players in the London Philharmonic Orchestra at the time. But that's the best thing with some sad songs, I think. The best sad songs have these little moments of hope in them that kind of contrast with the sadness of maybe the rest of the song. But yeah, Alan Civil's French horn and that little instrumental passage in For No One is just absolutely beautiful. It's so, so good. So there we go. Next one then, a sad country song. So I'm going to go to this album, The Fairest of Them All by Dolly Parton. This is from 1970, and this has got a couple of really, really sad songs on here. So the first one I'm going to talk about is called Down from Dover, and really that song's about this teenage girl who gets pregnant. She's kind of shunned by her parents because of her teenage pregnancy, and her lover goes away to this place called Dover and promises to come back. And she kind of pines for him throughout the song that he'll come back. He's going to come down from Dover. He's going to come back to her before she has the baby. and he never does. He kind of jilts her as well, and towards the end of the song, she has the baby, and the baby makes no sound, and basically the baby's stillborn, and it's kind of this idea that the baby was so sad as well, that the part that the dad wasn't coming back, that basically wasn't born into the world. So yeah, you can't get much more doom and gloom than that, unless you go to side one and listen to Daddy Come and Get Me. And that's a song about another jilted lady, I shouldn't laugh, who has been cheated on by her husband, and her husband, to get her out of the way, get her out of the picture, puts her into a mental institution, and she's writing this song from the mental institution, singing "Daddy, come and get me." She's pleading with her dad to come and take her out of this mental institution. So I do like a bit of Dolly. She writes quite a lot of sad songs, and you know, in the past you would have had these great murder ballads that would have been written predominantly by men, and I think Dolly Parton flipped that on its head, and she wrote about a lot of the same subject matter, but from the point of view of the woman. You know, you have all these murder ballads about the guy taking his lover down to the river and shooting her down with a gun and stuff like that. Like I said, she turned it on its head and gave us the kind of feminine perspective. That's what we need more of. Show a sad soundtrack. Initially, I was going to show the Midnight Cowboy soundtrack. I absolutely love the theme to that by John Barry, but James Griffith Scott there first. That was a great choice. So instead, I'm going to show the Juno soundtrack. I don't have it on record, I've just got it on CD, but there's some great sad songs on here. You've got Belle and Sebastian with Expectations. Piazza, New York Catcher by Belle and Sebastian is quite a sad one as well, but the ultimate sad song on here is Sonic Youth's version of Superstar, written originally by Leon Russell and who's the other person? Let me see. Superstar. Bonnie Bramlett. But yeah, what an amazing song that is, really good. It's a song that was written, I believe, from the point of view of a groupie who kind of read into a relationship more than she maybe should have. This idea that she'd kind of fallen in love with a rock star, whereas the rock star had kind of just used her for a one night stand. But yeah, there's some great lines in here. Do you remember? You told me you loved me, baby. You said you'd come back this way again, baby. Loneliness is such a sad affair, and I can hardly wait to be with you again. Yeah. Come back to me again, baby, and play your sad guitar. So yeah, I didn't ever realise until I started making up this video that it was to do with a groupie. I just thought it was a kind of general love song, but yeah, it gives it a bit of a different dimension. But that's what makes it, I suppose, a great kind of sad song that everybody can relate to it. You don't really need to know the context behind the writing of the song. So that is that one. Let me see. Next then, I'm only happy when it's raining. So to show a song or an album, I kind of took that as someone who's kind of always down in the dumps. Someone who is like, all their music is kind of downbeat, and they kind of almost like revel in their unhappiness and their sadness. And a few people kind of sprang to mind. The first one was obviously Field Commander Cohen, Leonard Cohen. But I kind of, I don't know, I think I've listened to Leonard Cohen so much that I don't really hear the sadness in his songs so much. I don't know. I don't really think of Leonard Cohen as being so sad. Whereas if I play him in my house, that would have been another contender for, oh, get that sad bastard off. Aidan Moffat would be another one who's just, all of his music is all really sad. But I've shown him already, so I'm going to show Nico, who's like kind of the goddess of gloom. I've never seen Nico smile. I love this album though, it's such a cool album. Some really great sad songs on here. These Days, Jackson Browne is just fantastic. I'll Keep It With Mine, Bob Dylan is great as well. But yeah, the whole album has just got this kind of lovely, gloomy unhappiness to it. And John, in his original video, he spoke about maybe the type of album that you could just see someone kind of staring out the window as the rain kind of came pouring down. And yeah, I could imagine Nico doing that on that front cover. She kind of just looks as if she's kind of staring off into space, happy in her sadness. So there we go. Nico Chelsea girl. Oh, we're on the last question. The sappiest, corniest, happiest bullshit song going. Okay, so this was an easy one because I do kind of like that kind of thing. And I did a St Andrew's Day thread the other day where I was showing a load of Scottish records that I was listening to on St Andrew's Day, and someone put in the comments, kind of had gave me a ticking off for not showing this band, and I thought I'm going to rectify that now. Gave me a ticking off for not showing the Bay City Rollers. So here they are from 1974. Cannot beat about the Bay City Rollers, and that song is Shang a Lang. It's so happy, it's so sugary. It is, yeah, it's just up there with the best of the best of just kind of bubblegum nonsense. I'd like to hear just a few of these lyrics, because we went through the lyrics for some of these sad songs, very profound songs that can be measured on a number of levels. But I think this can be too. No, we've got, let's see, yeah, we sang Shang a Lang and we ran with the gang, doing do wop, de dooby doo, with the jukebox playing and everybody saying that our music, like ours, couldn't die. We were grooving it, we were moving it, pussyfooting and booting it around. We were bopping it and we were hopping it, really jumping to the Shang a Lang sound of the music. So there we go. These guys have never ever been sad in their lives. This is fantastic because you've got like a lovely biography, a little bio of each of the dudes. I kind of learned a lot looking at this today. I realised all of the Bay City Rollers have got small feet. They're all like a size 7 or a size 8. A lot of them like horse riding. Eric Faulkner, his favourite food is peach flambé. Doesn't like untidiness or snobs. One that I found a little bit alarming was this guy here, Leslie Richard McKeown. He's a big fan of Gary Glitter, which I thought was a little bit worrying. And he said his ambition was to go to the moon. More likely to go to prison if he's hanging about with Gary Glitter. So there we go. I don't know if he ever did hang about with Gary Glitter. So yeah, that was the Bay City Rollers. And the last part then of this thread is to nominate another sad bastard, someone who you think would do this thread justice. So I'm going to reach out to Christian at the Vinyl Sanctuary, and I think he's got a tremendous collection of music. He's got loads of miserable 80s indie that I just love, and I think he would really do this thread justice. So if you've got the time, if you've got the inclination, Christian, give it a go, and I'll look forward to seeing your entry. Other than that, until the next time, stay sad, you sad bastards.